All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Trillium Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts, and this is their double dry hopped Melcher Street. So this is an IPA that comes in at 7.2% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review, and this can is just under 5 weeks old. So here in the Buffalo, New York area, we got another drop of Trillium. I think it was maybe like 6 or 7 beers showed up from them. This was the only one I picked up for a couple different reasons. And number one, I still have a lot of beer in my fridge that I got to get through, so I didn't want to, grab a half a dozen hop forward offerings from Trillium and have to run through them as quick as possible. The other reason is that they're kind of pricey, which we'll talk about at the end of the review. However, I picked this one up because I've never had Melcher Street or the double dry hop version, and I thought it made sense. Let's do it. So we're going to crack it open, get into the hashtag proper glassware, and see what this one has to offer. Now, they hop this one with Mosaic and CTZ hops, and then double dry hop it with Mosaic again. So, ooh. Oh, okay. I feel like I didn't pour that all that aggressive, and decent carbonation going on here. Yeah. Huh, it's been in the fridge the entire time. Whew. Interesting. Do one more little pour, and then I'll try to get a nose on it. Yeah, I did not anticipate the carbonation being an issue off the pour, but here we are. Throw this over here like that. And yeah, so anyway, that has that like kind of deeper honey orange color. Kind of looks like, I don't know how it's going to look on camera, but like the innards of like a cantaloupe, but maybe not as big, or innards of like a honeydew. Very murky and turbid, can't see through it. Hold it up to the light. There's a little bit of light getting through the bottom, but as a whole, it's very murky and turbid. Has about a 3-finger and I'd say that's off-white as far as the color is concerned. Very soap sudsy, but also creamy at the same time. Like it looks kind of wild. And then of course we have it in the hashtag proper glassware, which of course makes everything look better, taste better, right? Joe over at Joe's Arcade, he always says that, and I don't disagree with him. Anyway, let's get this going. Oh, that smells awesome. Ooh. Tons of citrus. There's orange. There's I'd say Tangelo. There's even a little bit of like a lemon, but then there's a big stone fruit pop, apricot, mango, peach, and then there's like a touch of pineapple and like passion fruit. What was the beer? I think I pretty much said like those specific fruits in a hop forward beer I reviewed recently, Myler Shark from Bellwoods and Other Half. Very similar, like a big pop of citrus, then the stone fruit, and then you got a little bit of tropical at the end. It's kind of what's happening here. It has such a, even though it's just under 5 months old, it has such a fresh kind of smell to it. There's a little bit of like an herbaceous dankness, touch of like a white bread too from the malt. Oh, it smells really good. Oh, it's just, so shout out to a very good friend of mine, fellow beer tuber, Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews. I occasionally harken back to this tasting note or this, I guess, note in general, whether it's in the aroma or in the taste. But he always says, like, when you smell or taste a fruit in the beer, it's kind of like the fruit coming from a hop as opposed to like biting into that fresh fruit. So if I say I'm smelling pineapple and then I taste it, it's like, it's a beery pineapple. It's a hop pineapple. It's not like a real pineapple. And that's, when I go back to smell that, it's like, yes, this is beer, but it's also very fruity, and it's like, they're intertwining and meshing, and it's like, it's hard to explain to people who don't drink beer or who maybe never had an IPA, because if you're saying all these different fruits, they're going to be like, oh, it sounds super fruity. It is, but in a different way. This smells, listen, I know Trillium has had some hits to the reputation over the past couple years. I know for a while, a lot of their beers were falling flat for people, so on and so forth. I had a beer from them last year. I forget what the name of it was. It was like trains over planes over automobiles over whatever the name of it was. It was a pale ale. It was delicious. It was like one of the better pale ales I've had lately. And this, for a 7.2% IPA, New England IPA, hazy IPA, smells fucking divine. So let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. How can the taste be so vastly different than the nose? Holy shit, what just happened? Don't get me wrong, the taste is pretty good. But that nose was screaming like, I hate to say it, like world class for like a New England IPA. Like it was fucking bonkers how fresh smelling, how fruity, juicy, but also still it smelled like an actual beer, an IPA. The taste is very muted and dialed back. Buying this is like medium. Has a little bit of a watery kind of sensation to it. The mouthfeel, on the other hand, it's nice. The mouthfeel is nice. It has a smoothness to it, and it's a little bit softer than I anticipated based on, well, look at the glass slicing. But yeah, obviously, it looked very carbonated, and it's not really that carbonated on the palate. This is like mild, moderately carbonated, but it's very smooth and soft. It doesn't really have a creaminess, so it's not like upper echelon, but it's definitely really nice. So the mouthfeel is pretty awesome. The body definitely thin and a little bit watery. The taste, listen, the taste is really nice, right? But the nose was just like, hey, this is awesome. The aroma was just immaculate, and the taste is just like, it's good. So right up front, I get that white bread I was talking about, dives underneath the palate, omnipresent, kind of propping up all of the fruit characters and the hops and whatnot. This is a little bit skewed from the aroma in terms of it's very citrus heavy for me. Like there's a lot of citrus character. There's orange, there's tangerine, there's tangelo, there's grapefruit, there's lemon. It's just, and again, it's not super juicy. It has some juice qualities, but it has like a pithiness to it, a little bit of like a rind quality. And then halfway through the palate, I get more like underripened, like peach, mango, apricot, stone fruits. There's a touch of like a pineapple, touch of a passion fruit, maybe even a little bit of guava. But again, it's very dialed back from the nose. It finishes with this spicy kind of herbaceousness. Not really dank, more of like a spicy herbaceousness. This is very dry. This is almost full on dry. Very mild bitterness, but the dryness does balance it out. Here's the thing, it wasn't too sweet to begin with. I'm talking about those juicy fruits and whatnot, but like it's not really that sweet at the front of the palate. So this one, I think, leans a little bit more dry, which if you like a drier, kind of like hazy or drier New England IPA, this would definitely be in your realm. As I keep on sipping on it, this is infinitely drinkable. Like, I'm going back, I'm hammering this. I keep on forgetting it's 7.2%. It is just a really enjoyable drinking New England IPA. And I know that sounds stupid. You're like, well, all beer is drinkable, right? What I mean by that is like, I could get a 4-pack of this and just kind of forget about it, right? And just take it down, and I'd be like, holy shit, that was 7.2. I'm feeling good now. And it's not bogging down the palate. There's nice flavors. It's pretty well balanced. The nose, however, every single time I go to take a sip of it, I'm just reminded of how fucking awesome the aroma is, and it lets me down the taste. Oh my God, like just a little bit of a swirl. Fucking divine. Nice. Man, it's gonna be a tough one to score because I don't know where to really place this one, because I think the mouthfeel is awesome. The aroma's awesome. But the body's a little watery and the taste is good, but not great, right? I think if the aroma wasn't as good as it is and the mouthfeel wasn't as good as it is, I'd probably give this like a 4-ish, somewhere in that range. Maybe like a low 4, like a 3.9, 3.95. I think that's the best I could do for this. I gotta bump it up because of the aroma. The aroma's so fucking awesome. Like, and I know taste is the vast majority of what you're gonna score the beer on, or how do you feel about a beer. But every time I go and take a sip, I'm smelling it usually before I take a sip, and I'm just like, oh my God, like it's great. And then the mouthfeel is awesome, which makes it even easier to drink the mouthfeel. Another sip, and then I'm gonna figure out an exact rating. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this, I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. I'm going to give a double dry hop Melcher Street from Trillium. I am going to give this, it's a street series. I didn't know this was part of their street series. Maybe I'll put that in the title like I do for most of the series. But anyway, I'm going to give this beer, I'm going to give this a low 4.25 and go 4.15. I think that's fair. I got to bump it up a little bit because of the aroma and the mouthfeel. I think going from like a 4.395 to 4.15 is appropriate. I don't want to give it like right into a 4.25. I don't think that's fair. But at the end of the day, this is pretty fucking good, honestly. But that aroma and that mouthfeel, just, I'll always remember this beer for those two things. It's just a shame that kind of the note or the taste let me down, and so did the body. But it is what it is. So price point availability. Let's talk about it. On the website, I'd imagine these are probably like, I feel like these double dry hop, like 7.5% beers from Trillium are usually like $20 a four. I think they had like, I didn't look it up, but they used to be like $20.20 or something like that, right? So that's probably what this is, maybe a little bit more. Here in Buffalo, though, when these show up, and this has happened a couple times, beers like this are typically in like the $30 4-pack range. So you're talking $20 at the brewery to $30 in distro. That is a crazy inflation when you're getting out to the market. I think I paid $8 for that can. And I'm happy I just picked up the can. I wouldn't want the entire 4-pack at that price point. Even though I just said I could drink a 4-pack, I don't want to drink a $30 4-pack of this beer. There's other beers in my past that I would easily and happily pay $30 for 4-pack. This is not one of them. But, you know, I never thought we'd see Trillium here in Buffalo just show up on shelves, so I'm not going to sit here and complain about the price point, but just keep in mind that if this shows up in your neck of the woods just randomly, like it did here in Buffalo, it's going to be a little bit more pricey than if you pay at the brewery. And availability, I have no idea what Trillium outside of, I know they get distro in Massachusetts. I'm pretty sure they ship throughout Massachusetts. And there was one state that they used to ship to. It was like random. It was like Ohio or Pennsylvania. It was like a specific state they ship to outside of Massachusetts, but nobody else. So outside of being able to drink their stuff here in Buffalo and, you know, randomly getting drops, I really don't know. They might have a beer finder on their website, but I doubt it. A brewery like this typically don't usually have a beer finder, but maybe they do. Anyway, if you've had this one before or the regular Melcher Street, let me know what you think about it. If you've had this one years ago and you retried it recently, how does it change? Is it better? Is it worse? Is it kind of in the same realm? I never had it, so I can't speak to that, but I will say I'm not really overall disappointed with this beer, but disappointed based on the aroma and the mouthfeel, that if the taste just lived up to the aroma, this would have been fucking bonkers good. And as is, it's just pretty good. So yeah, anyway, 7.2%, like I said, a little bit of warming in my chest now, not much, but it drinks so easy on the palate that I don't really give a shit. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.